absolutely love the organization. For those of you who don't know what they do, they have 200, I believe 200 chapters across the country. This is their 15th year in business. Sully is their executive director now. Just a massive organization doing some incredible work for our community. They enrich the lives of the vets by fostering this community, this sense of purpose. It's built around, I think it started around running and hiking and stuff, but they do a lot of social events, and it's just a great way for people to stay involved with other veterans, no matter where they end up living. And so Sully has spent 30 years in the Army in special forces as an officer. And what I love about you is you started as an intern at Team Red, White, Blue, and then worked your way up, which is absolutely amazing. So we're going to hear all about that. So thank you again, buddy, for being here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. No, I absolutely love the opportunity and look forward to any questions you guys might have. But yeah, so Mike Sullivan, I go by Sully. 30-year Army veteran. The majority of that time was in special operations as a special forces officer at Green Beret. All my time as a tactical guy was in 3rd Special Forces Group from captain to lieutenant colonel. But started out as an ROTC guy at Claremont McKenna College, went field artillery, and then decided about 4 years into it, I wanted to go SF. Luckily, my wife's my biggest champion. And she's like, well, if you're going to stay in the Army and things get bad, this is pre 9/11. She's like, I'd want you to be with the absolute best you could be with if that's what you want to do. So I went for it in 99, 2000. Made it through the qualification course and was picking up my books for language school um, on 9/11. So, unfortunately for all of us that didn't want to go to language school, they made us finish our 6 months of language school before we all thought we were going to go deploy and fight the war immediately. But I found myself in 3rd Special Forces Group, thinking I would be doing missions all across the African continent because that's where they were aligned. But we immediately went into Afghanistan and I did 6 combat tours over my time from captain to lieutenant colonel in 3rd Special Forces Group. A lot of staff time in other different places. Majority of the time was at Fort Bragg. I got to command twice as a colonel, once in Lebanon for a year of a joint special operations unit. And then my second command, I went back to the conventional army for the Security Force Assistance Brigade, the second SFAB, which I think is going to case its colors here soon, which is unfortunate, but ran advisory teams, and after 2 years there, we had 17 teams deployed across the continent of Africa, just doing amazing things from teaching logistics to teaching infantry tactics, field artillery stuff. So really enjoyed that job to kind of cap off my last command. But then my very last job was chief of staff at the Special Warfare Center and School at Fort Bragg. Um, so really busy career, got to do a lot, see a lot. It seemed like it flew by, and I just absolutely loved just about every day. Sure, there were some tough times in combat and some other things, but a lot of time away from the family. But we made it all together. My kids loved it so much they decided. I have twins that both went to West Point, graduated 2020. They're both captains in the U.S. Army. My son Jackson's stationed out at JPMRC in Hawaii as an infantry officer. And then my daughter is an engineer officer. She kind of has a unique uh, career path. She started out as an engineer platoon leader, did some time there, but then got called up because she was a rugby player to the U.S. Olympic rugby team. So she's in the Army's world class athlete program. She went to Paris last year, won a bronze medal. So she gets to play professional rugby on the Army's dime. But you probably know her teammate Alona Mar. She's a pretty famous athlete right now. But yeah, so I mean, it was an amazing career, and quite frankly, I got lucky. I would say when it came to that point where I had to decide what I was going to do when I grew up. In my second career post military service, um, because I was friends with the guy who founded Team Red, White, and Blue, Mike Irwin. We served in third group together when he was an intel officer and I was a company commander, and I was the person he reached out to start the local group before they were chapters at Fayetteville and Fort Bragg. So in 2011, 14 years ago, he sent me a box of these sweet red t-shirts, and we got things going with the organization that's just kind of evolved over the years from starting out like very first being like Mike wanting to help out wounded veterans that were transitioning to their new communities post service, and then realized very quick like all veterans need this support when transitioning out of the military and losing their team that they had, no matter if you just did one term of service or spent 30 years like me, your life is over. I mean, not to make it bad for you transitioning vets, but that support structure, the people you get to see every day, the medical the support you get, your dental care. I mean, just your everything's turned off and you got to figure it out for yourself, right? So having a group of folks that you can lean on, help you integrate into the larger community that you find yourself into was what Team RWB was all about. And they did it through physical fitness, like mostly running clubs and different things. But now we've evolved. If you know us at all, we have our own application. So we're kind of a hybrid, digital community that, really still pushes in-person community and events across the United States. But our mission's never changed. It's always been to enrich veterans' lives, but the vision now is to forge America's leading health and wellness community. And we focus on holistic health and wellness. So if you need acute care needs, we have partners that can get those things done for you. But we'll always be there, no matter what phase of life you're in. If you want to put on your t-shirt and go back out and do a 5K, you're going to find some RWB members that'll help you do it. So when I was getting ready to punch out, it was probably 2 years, just about the time, I was going into my second year at the Security Force Assistance Brigade. And Mike started to ask me, "Hey, do you think, are you going to continue on in the military, or are you going to get out at 30?" And I was like, "Well, I think the Army's going to choose for me to get out at 30. I was not going to get promoted to general. So I was like, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do." And he's like, "I really think you need to think about RWB. You'd be a perfect person for that." Um, it seemed like an easy decision for me, but when you look back at it, there was, financially, you're not going to get rich running a nonprofit, even as the executive director. But it pays, well enough that I can live, comfortably with my retirement. And for me, that idea of getting to continue service to those that serve was like just too easy to jump at. Um, it also is like what we like to joke about at RWB, at least in the like the 30 paid staff members, because everybody else is like volunteer leaders that make this thing happen. Is that we're a military adjacent organization, so a lot of Army guys, but the joint lingo crosses all services, so it makes it a little bit easier when you do have folks that you can lean on that kind of had that same experience and understood where you came from and what you did. Um, so, I found myself talking to Mike, and he's like, "I think, I have another year or two left before I'm done with being the executive director. Um, and I really want to be deliberate about what we're going to do." So we used the Career Skills Bridge program. I did 3 months as an intern, oldest intern in RWB history, and got to know the organization, and figured that it would be a place I think that I really wanted to land. The next job I had was the chief of staff. And so that was last year, the full year of kind of like getting to run things down and in for Mike and kind of understand his vision of where he wanted things to go long term, because he is the founder as well as, the current executive director. Um, and it gave me an opportunity to, prove myself to our board, who had to vote on whether I was going to replace Mike, and to the staff itself. So we wanted to be very deliberate about making sure that with an organization as important as we think ours is, that we handled this correctly. So that all worked out. The board voted a year ago, almost this month, to have me succeed Mike. But again, we decided, hey, the 15-year anniversary mark would be the best way to do that. We'll celebrate 15 years Mike's service, and then he and I will transition. So I actually am still technically the incoming executive director until Saturday, when we have our pasta dinner before the Twin Cities Marathon, which is our 15th anniversary event. Mike and I will run the marathon Sunday together, and
This week
then
coming up?
yeah, this
Oh wow.
weekend.
All
Yeah,
right.
so I leave Thursday for the Twin Cities, but
Nice.
yeah, I mean, so true RWB fashion, try to encourage people to go out and do something big. So this will be one of the big things I do this year. But
Good for you.
yeah, so that's kind of me in a nutshell and where I'm at and where. But I'm looking forward to the questions and where this
Yeah.
might go.
I'm gonna put, would it be all right if I play your sizzle video just to give everyone a quick overview of the org if you're not familiar with it? But and first, and congrats on your twin boys and your daughter, man. What you must be so proud of them, man. That's awesome. So I'm all right. So let me play this so you guys put in the chat if anyone has been to or participated with Team RWB before. Oh wait, let me do this again. Sorry. I'm just curious how many have gone to an event. Let me play this one. I don't know if this is the best one to play, but I'll give it a whirl.
There's an immeasurable bond that forms when you join the service. You'll do anything to protect and defend those at your side, and pushing the limits of your well-being is all just part of the job. But when this shared experience ends, it's easy to carry that mission-first mindset with you and neglect your own health and mental fitness. Team Red, White, and Blue understands these challenges and knows that together we can show veterans that their best days are ahead by providing opportunities to build healthier lifestyles right where they live and work. Through races, service projects, workouts, and a cutting-edge mobile app, our members develop a sense of camaraderie and mutual support. With a growing force of over 200,000 strong, we invite all veterans, families, and non-military supporters to start putting their well-being first. Team Red, White, and Blue is forging America's leading health and wellness community. Will you join the team?
I love it. That's a well done video. I'll tell you what I personally, because I
What is
didn't
this?
serve, but when I
614?
would
Very
participate, and
good.
it's not just vets, I know it's open
What
to
comes after
civilians
10?
too. But what I
610?
loved about it was, wait, I'm sorry, that's me. Shit. Oh, stop. All right. What I got so much, what I felt was so impactful when I would participate in these events, whatever it was, socially or running or hiking, was people would just like the vets would talk to one another and share stories, and I could tell it was very therapeutic for some of them because maybe some people don't want to go sit in a psychiatrist's office, and but this was sort of like walking and talking therapy or whatever, running and talking. I just know a lot of people got so much value out of those experiences, and to just have a place to go once a week and be with people who understood one another. So that's amazing. Can you tell, Mike, can you tell everyone a little bit about, some of the events that you guys do? I know the video there touched on it, but I know you did, is that right? It was at 200,000 members right
Yeah,
now?
actually, that's a couple years old. I think that video, or maybe a year and a half. We're crested 300,000 members that have signed up over 15 years. So I
Wow.
mean, that's not our active membership. Monthly is not that high, but the people that have been come and go to the people in the chat, like it's the thing about RWB is it's always there for you, right? I mean, there's different seasons of life. There's folks, that are, their kids are in high school. They might have left the service a while ago. They're at the height of their second career. So the time they have to get out to do a 5K with friends on a Tuesday may not be there anymore. But when their kids, they're empty nesters and they find themselves maybe a little bit overweight, they're like, I can get my t-shirt back out and see what RWB's up to. Um, so yeah, we're over 300,000 members. Our chapters are actually down from the number we were over 230 pre-COVID. COVID, like a lot of things for in-person engagement, we took a little bit of a hit. So we're like 154 chapters nationwide right now. And then our application has really allowed us to kind of build out the community into that gray space where maybe somebody doesn't find themselves right near a chapter, where you can do monthly virtual challenges that go on constantly, whether it's one to kind of test yourself, or we also have a series that we call Eagle Fit that's designed to teach you about holistic health and wellness through like a challenge based kind of gamified application event. We just did a great one, which was doing, one of our board members is a PhD. She's a mental health, uh, focused doctor. She's worked with Headstrong, and she developed this great program for us that we just did over the last 20 days that she termed mental push-ups. But it's not always like getting out running a marathon. It's learning how to box breathe, and understanding like different techniques that can get you through the day. It's learning that like hydration is critical to your health and wellness. Sleep challenges, all of those things go on in app to kind of get you prepared for things. But our bread and butter is still encouraging people to get out to in-person events, whether they're ones put on by the chapters, which happen, weekly, walks, runs to like bigger events where they're either co-sponsor of a 5K or one of the national events. Like, somebody mentioned the Taji 100 medal in the background. That was an organization that supported us for the last 15 years. They're sunsetting their organization, but we're taking it on. They asked us to rebrand it, but to give it an homage to Taji, which was Iraq, we've called it the GWAT 100. So this February, you guys can all get out, go after one of those big medals back there, and see if you can go 100 miles in the month of February. But we develop it in a way that depending on the modality of your choice. So there's conversions for everything from cycling to rucking to Jacob's ladder to if you like to do the skier. You can get your miles in during the month of February to stay motivated. And we have bigger events like that each quarter, all next year that you can find in app. The app also allows you to geolocate yourself to wherever you're at. So maybe you're near a chapter that's doing stuff, or maybe like I'm not near a chapter, but I do, in-person events that I put in there every single day, just hoping maybe somebody's like visiting. I live in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and they want to go out and hang out with another Eagle, with the local run club. So you're going to find people doing stuff constantly in the community that can really keep you going. So the other thing that we've leaned into the last 2 years is we have a scholarship program, not for like a university, but for those folks that are looking to get their like certified personal training, certificate, or maybe a CrossFit level 1 certificate. So our primary school that we partner with is the University of Health and Performance in Northwest Arkansas, which is just for veterans, but they have a series of curriculum from coaching to the new nutrition course and other things. And for us, it just builds the expertise within our community that can be shared with, the other folks that are members. So, we've continued to build out our programming to make sure we're supporting our members as best as possible.
You always do really creative and fun events, which I love. It's always exciting to see what's going on and what you have planned. I'd love to hear from some people who are participated with a local chapter, done an event, and I'd love to hear you guys share your quick experience of what that was like. And then Mike, do you have any favorite stories? Anything that pops out of members who have been with you guys? And I don't know, just an interesting story to share with everyone.
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the ones you'll find in social media over the last like year or so, there's a Air Force veteran named Brandon. He was an enlisted guy, got injured, had a back injury, and ended up on the couch for years. And doctors told him he shouldn't be doing anything in terms of too physically demanding of movement or anything. And he decided, I got to do something. He got involved, decided he found our Couch to 5K program. And last year he ran like 6 5Ks. He's still got a ton of pain that he's dealing with, but every day he gets on Instagram and he posts, he's like, things are better because I continue to move. I've lost some weight, and he attributes that to Team RWB and this idea that, hey, there's a group of people out there. They're going to help me find my sense of purpose, encourage me
Yeah.
to like set a goal and then go for it. And there's stories like that across like members over the last 15 years. It's this idea that, um, you know, veterans are very resilient, right? RWB, you're not going to, we joke that there might be some veteran organizations out there that it's like watching the dog adoption commercials, with the broken vet and it's the Arms of the Angel song playing in the background. And we're like, no, we're not going to lean into that. Even if you have 100%, disability rating, we're going to say, hey, motion is lotion, like stronger muscles, movement each day, taking care of yourself, your nutrition, you're going to have a better day tomorrow, like kind of Brandon is right now. And it's those kinds of stories that we really want to lean into. every person that joins RWB, we encourage them to like take on that big fitness goal each year. Like Brandon, it could be a couch to 5K that turned into multiple. I like to run a lot, so I had an ultra running like big fitness goal last year. But it's different for every person. But we ask you to challenge yourself, and like
Yeah.
it's kind of that comfort crisis misogi. Pick something that you might have a 50% shot of missing out on, because it's going to force you to get ready for it, right?
Yeah.
So and we're here for you, right? Like, and we're going to surround you with a group of folks that are going to try to make it fun. So it's not like PT at 6:30 in the morning. Something a little bit better than that.
Yeah, it was definitely you said it exactly. I mean, that is exactly what the experience I had with them was, and there was always a social component too. So we'd go run or bike or whatever, and then we'd all go for to a restaurant or
Yep.
just hang out by the cars. So it's just a really special group, and I commend you for what you're doing. I can't imagine this is an easy task to run an organization with 200 to 180 chapters and all these people, but you're doing amazing work for this community. So we thank you for that. Can you talk a lot of the transitioning vets are interested in going into the say the military nonprofit space and working in that arena and continuing to serve in that regard. Can you talk a little bit about what that's been like for you? What are some of the
Sure.
opportunities people might have working in this space? What sorts of positions and
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a bit of an eye opener for me. Just being a Team RWB member for 14 years. When you look at an organization like ours and you see like kind of the national recognition, all the folks were like, "Oh, I see those t-shirts at 5Ks and races." For the brands out there, and you start to realize like maybe the thing isn't as big as you thought it was. Um, there's definitely the challenges of running an organization like this, but in terms of like the veteran space right now is it's pretty dynamic, um, and it's getting smaller. So, like 2017, the height of two wars, the nation's on fire for anyone that's serving. You're seeing a lot of folks coming back injured or worse. And, you know, there was there was more veteran service organizations than you could ever imagine, like tens of thousands. Um, and that's good because we need them at the very local level up to like national level, like VSOs like our own. Um, but with both wars coming to an end, Afghanistan, we could talk all day about how that ended, but the nation moved very quickly, like it does, on to the next thing that was important to them. And quite frankly, while people still continue to thank all of us for our service, the idea of being on fire and providing time and expertise, funding, and support to veteran service organizations, it's become very challenging. And it's harder to get people out and activated these days. So like I encourage people to like take the challenge on, but I would just say, you really need to do your homework. There's so many different organizations. You want to find the one that really, moves you and provides you with a purpose that you're passionate about. I mean, it could be Team RWB because you're really into physical fitness and you think that you have something to offer there. Or it could be like Guitars for Vets because you're a musician and you love the idea that more veterans should be learning to play guitar for for free. So there's tons of opportunities out there in terms of what veteran service organizations provide, especially if that's where you want to continue your service. Um, the other great thing about a veteran service organization is that you can kind of try by and decide in terms of being a volunteer first, and getting to know them and getting to understand like, do you align with their mission? Are they doing what they're saying and saying what they're doing? Like that kind of stuff's very important. So I would encourage you to like volunteer, get out and be a member, um, before you put in that resume. A lot of times organizations even like ours, we hire from within, even from our volunteer population, because we want folks that know the organization, if we're then going to bet on them as one of the few paid employees that we have. So, I would just take all of that in as you guys look across the board. If you're looking at whether it's a veteran service organization or a nonprofit, you're not going to make as much money as you could in the private sector. but there's a lot more to it than that, right? In terms of what you get back in terms of that feeling of service. And I, I'm encouraging people to do it as well because again, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, whether it's coming out of COVID, whether it's the fact that we're all just tied to our phones and our, other things in our lives that are taking our attention away from the idea of local personal community, I think is a problem. So finding a way to find your niche to connect with people in person is
Right.
critical for this nation. Like we just need to get together more and do things together. Um, and that means it's not on your phone. Use your phone to find out where it's at. It's a very effective tool for that. But put it in your pocket, put it away, turn it off when you're going to be with some folks.
That's what I love about your org is it's so inclusive. Like you don't have to be a great runner or a great biker or whatever. You take everybody and everyone can participate and find a spot for yourself. So I love that. That's awesome. Chris, did you have a question for Sully?
Yes, sir. Well, first thing I just want to say, the logo itself is dope. If you guys ever wanted to just get shirts, like wearing those shirts look awesome. Like I saw RWB when I was at Lakenheath in England, and we had a chief that we used to mess with, and we called it his little run club. Is we said it was like running with buddies or something like that. So, but he's like, no, it's way more than just a running thing, and but the shirts look awesome. But kind of what you were saying about the whole phone thing, just to kind of piggyback on that a little bit, which I know everybody loves is piggybacking. There's a contemporary Christian song called Dusty Bibles that I really like. And it says, we got dust on our Bibles and brand new iPhones. No wonder why we feel this way. And I think that that kind of goes to the whole thing where you're like, hey, let's get off our phone and let's start connecting with people. Let's start getting out there. And and it's true. It is a problem where we feel so connected to our phones and our technology. And that's why I try to go fishing so much and stuff as well. So, just to get out there and fish. But no, I appreciate what you guys are doing. I've actually, like, I've seen it at the grassroots level, and the camaraderie and the connections are amazing. And our chief used to hang up all the little medals that he would get, so in his office.
Good stuff, man.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Chris. Robert.
Good morning. Thank you for coming on. My question, I guess, is related to the Taji 100 thing I asked earlier, but for that, are other people who aren't Team RWB members going to be able to sign up and like track miles still and all that?
Yeah,
On your guys'
absolutely.
website?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're moving off the Taji platform. They offered that to us, but we're rebranding it a little bit with the GWAT 100, and it'll be on Run Sign Up. And there's both a free and paid for option. So if you want a really sweet T-shirt, because the T-shirt's going to be amazing this year, and one of those big medals, you can pay like you do for an e-race, and once you complete it, you're going to get it sent in the mail. So we're going to keep that tradition going that Taji started 15 years ago of this virtual 100-mile race. We encourage it's open to anybody, right? And what you'll find is a lot of like corporate VRGs, veteran and employee resource groups, local groups of people will get together and they'll generate teams that helps to build competition. There's leaderboards that will be tracked. You get like daily badges for doing different things. We're going to do a lot of storytelling this year around GWAT veterans, and this year we're leaning into that area, kind of that Sunni Triangle area of Iraq, because that's where Raji was at. So to kind of keep it going this first year. So it gives us an opportunity to keep the stories alive, keep their service alive, those folks that like served during that portion of the GWAT, and we're going to build it out over the next few years as we keep this thing rolling. So it's an awesome event. It's not live yet. Veterans Day is when you can sign up for next February to start that getting those miles in, and you'll find that chapters will have local events to get people together to kind of get your miles in. We may do an in-person kickoff event in Florida where the first 24 hours, see how far you can go. That we'll be sponsoring as like one big in-person event. But yeah, highly encourage it. And that's the beauty of RWB in general too. Like you don't have to be just a veteran. It's veteran active duty, guard, reserve, and civilians all can join for free.
Kick-ass civilians. I was called a kick-ass civilian.
Yeah, yeah. And so like when you talk about the civilians, like 20% of our membership population are civilians. Half of those are family members, people like my wife
Yeah,
and
that's great.
kids. Well, my kids are now in the military. Um but the other 10% are just civilian supporters that are like, from your local community. They saw us at races, different things, and they're like, I want to be a part of that. So it's really a great group of people that's just open and free to everybody.
Yeah, it is awesome. I encourage all you guys, just check them out. It's teamrwb.org. Do I have that right? Go
Correct.
there, sign up, check out, see if you got a local chapter near you. Get involved, volunteer, do it, go meet the crew. And it could lead to so many cool things, and not just mental health wise, but you might find a future employer in that group who you do a race with, or you might be able to help somebody down the line. So I can't speak highly enough about the amazing work that Sully and his team does. So please check them out. And Sully, thank you again, man, for coming on. You always have our support, whatever you need from us. We're always here for you guys and your crew.
I appreciate the opportunity. And to the folks that just signed up, if you complete the whole thing, you'll get your red t-shirt in the mail pretty soon. But like, here's the thing I
Show
just
them the
want
shirt. Stand up so they can see it. Yeah.
I mean, that's
There, look at that. Look how awesome that is. Beautiful.
there's gear on the gear store you can buy as well. We try to do well with that. I'll just say this, in terms of like people don't necessarily see being a Team RWB member as like continuing your service. And I'm telling you, you're absolutely wrong if you see it don't see it that way. Because if you're willing to take an hour out of your day to show up for somebody else, even if it's just a buddy, to go on a run, to go on a walk together, because that's going to motivate you and motivate them to get that work done, you are doing a service for that veteran. Like, it is just as important as serving meals, is just as important as finding homes for homeless vets. It's just as important as rebuilding homes post, a hurricane. Um, it's kind of the cheat code. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't think that Team RWB, they just think it's just a big running club. But I'm telling you, you still get to serve if you're a member of Eagle Nation. You're going to get more out of it than you put in, and we just look forward to hopefully getting all you on board. And if you do join, or if you did join today and you're like, this is a little wonky, I don't know about this. That's a great thing about this organization. You can find me on LinkedIn, reach right back out to me, because we're always in the mode of trying to make this thing better. So, it's the members that are the lifeblood of this thing. So
No
look
doubt.
forward
Well
to
said,
seeing
man.
you all at the start of the next
What
marathon.
and any parting words for them as of encouragement as these guys head out on their civilian careers and head into this, really stressful time, and anything you'd like to say to them?
Well, hey, nobody can thank you guys enough, but continued thank you for your service. And just know that you're not alone in this, right? You got all the people like this, you got amazing organizations like, and people like Jordy that are providing you opportunities to connect. And that's what the critical piece of this is going forward. That's why Team RWB exists. It's to keep your connections, stay in touch with one another, and then, just know that, there's going to be great days, there's going to be hard days, but I'm telling you that no matter where you served, you were given something that no other American was given, and that's a bit of resilience, a bit of understanding that I can get through a tough time. But usually, you'll realize I can get through a tough time if I embrace that suck with somebody else.
Yeah,
So
that's
do
good.
not be afraid to grab somebody, even when things are bad, and ask for help. I'm telling you, whether it's a Team RWB member or one of the 45,000 other VSOs that are out there, there's going to be a veteran, there's going to be a civilian, there's going to be a friend that's going to be like willing to like, all right, let's work through this together. And just know, like, guys like me, I expect you guys just to like continue to crush it. You guys and gals are the future of this nation. Like, veterans do so much more post service than we ever did while we were in the service, and I just can't thank you enough for what you're doing, and look forward to see what you guys do next.
That is awesome. So well said. One last question from James, then we'll let Sully go.
There we go. Sorry. Hey, Sully, thanks. I was having audio issues earlier, and I just wanted.
Still have it. We'll give him
That is hilarious. The timing couldn't have been any better.
What did I miss?
You got it? Go ahead, man. Say it again.
Hey, sorry, and I was having audio issues earlier. Maybe I am still, but I may have missed it earlier. How do I get signed up and get a t-shirt and get involved with you guys?
Yeah, it's really easy. Two places you can go. You can go to teamrwb.org,
Yep.
and there's a join now button. Or just go to whichever is your favorite app store based on the phone you have, and you can download the app and it'll take you through the onboarding
Oh,
journey.
right.
Yep. Once you complete the onboarding journey, um, you'll get an email saying, that your t-shirt's going to be sent off to you. So you just got to make sure you go through that process. And yeah, and in the meantime, if you're really anxious and you want to get a shirt, you can go to our gear store. You can find that at the shop at teamrwb.org as well. There's some other stuff besides the red t-shirt.
Yeah, cool. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Sully, thanks again, man. Keep
Appreciate
cranking.
it. Thanks.
We're here
Thanks
for
for the
you.
time.
Take care. You got it, buddy. Bye-bye. All right, guys.